Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. Today we are going to repot two types of Philodendron Burle Marx, and we're going to get started right now. All right, first Burle Marx that we're going to get to is my Burle Marx Fantasy, which I absolutely adore. It's got such beautiful, beautiful green and grayish with a splash of red in the back foliage, and I absolutely love it. So much so, I mean, philodendron are hands down my favorite type of genus of plants that I've explained to you guys, so much so that I'm wearing my philodendron foliage t-shirt, which unfortunately does not feature the Burle Marx Fantasy or the Burle Marx Variegated, which I'm also going to pot up today as well. So this plant is interesting because I have had this plant for, I think, 6 months now, about 6 months, and I had such a difficult time when I first got a plant, a Burle Marx Fantasy plant, which was over a year ago, and I got it from a local plant shop here in town, and I didn't quite understand how to care for this plant, so of course it ended up dying, which was my fault, not the plant's fault. Yeah, it was totally my fault. But here's the thing. I failed with that one, but I ended up finding another one on Steve's leaves because these are considered a rare tropical aroid. And at the time, a small plant, a small version of this, maybe a quarter of the size of this one, and this is about 2 feet, foot and a half-ish. One that was a quarter of the size of this at a local plant shop here cost about $120 when I first got it over, oh gosh, this is a year and a half ago when I failed at it. So I got that one. And then as this plant started to circulate a little bit more, Steve's Leaves, which is one of my favorite online plant retailers, they started selling them. This large plant is where I got it from for $25 is what you can buy it for now. And that is a steal because it's such a beautiful and easy to care for plant. Now you might be saying to yourself, well, Kevin, if it's such an easy to care for plant, then why on earth did you fail at it the first time around? Well, that's because I didn't understand its soil needs. And so this is the sort of plant that really loves a peat-based soil medium that will retain a little bit of moisture, but also have that well-draining kind of system. So what I'm doing is I'm going to keep this plant in its original soil that came in, but I'm also adding in some additional soil into a larger pot because this guy has outgrown this little, gosh, 3-inch, 2.5-inch, 3-inch pot that I've had it in since I got it. But it's done really well, as you can see. I mean, it's grown really, really large. But the fact of the matter is, I noticed that some of its foliage, its leaves, were starting to die off. And I'm assuming, hopefully, because I can't imagine it being any other issue, that it just didn't have room to really grow. And so the nutrients it needed weren't being provided. And again, that's because of my human error. And I have a lot of them. So what I'm trying to do is really just kind of unseal this baby from its little pot here. And once I do, I'm going to move it into this pot that is a couple inches larger. Oh yeah, I can tell this thing is definitely root bound. And like most philodendron, it really does love being root bound, where it doesn't want a lot of space in its pot. So hopefully just moving it up a little bit will be good enough. So as I said, this is a pretty standard, easy to care for philodendron, but it really likes temperatures that are between 60 to 80 degrees, if you can keep that. And like other philodendron, it really loves high humidity. So those are a plus, but it doesn't necessarily love that really bright indirect light like other philodendrons do. This one prefers more bright, indirect, medium type of light. Kind of like, the philodendron bipedifolium, the horseshoe or horsehead, whatever they call it, philodendron. Oh my gosh, I can't believe how difficult this thing is to really just kind of loosen up from its pot. Oh, do I have it? I really don't want to like damage any of the roots too while I'm doing this. It's been so nice though in Denver the last couple of days, like 70-degree temperatures. So that's like perfect spring weather to start repotting a plant like this, a tropical aroid. Oh, do I have it? Do I have it? Ah! There we go. Yes. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, those, this plant was definitely root bound. Those roots were all scrunched up in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of the soil that it was in, and with the new soil that I have for it, I'm just going to blend that together. Just so when I put it in there, it's going to be able to kind of recognize it and see that, hey, this is where I was living, at least the soil it was living in. And I'm also going to put in a new moss pole. So that is going to be helpful for the plant because like most climbing aroids, this baby just wants to go up a tree, but we're going to give it a moss pole because I don't have trees in my apartment here in Denver yet. Okay, so I'm just trying to loosen up without damaging it too much, or at least affecting the roots too much. I'm trying to loosen up those roots a bit, just so when it starts to adapt to its new soil and its new pot, these roots will be able to climb around, and be perfectly fine. As perfect as they possibly can be. So let's see here. What's interesting about this plant too is that researchers aren't sure if it's an actual philodendron or if it just so happens to be like a hybrid of two other kind of philodendron. But regardless, it's such a beautiful plant, and that's why it's so sought after by folks. And I'm so glad the prices have dropped on it because it should be easily obtainable for everyone to really enjoy this plant. I'm going to put a little bit of rooting hormone powder on it, which is the powder I use to help when it's either a new cutting or if I'm transferring a plant, just so its roots have a little bit of help. And this stuff you can get pretty much anywhere. I mean, I got this I bought it off Amazon, but I've seen it at like a Home Depot or Lowe's for like $10. So, all right, let's see here. Yay. And it just slips in like that. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to put something in here because I didn't think this through really good enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to prop this in here because I need to grab the moss poles that I have for it. And let's see, is that good enough? Is that good enough? That'll be fine. This will only take, oh no, it's not going to be fine. See, this is what happens when Kevin does not prepare himself for recording plant videos. And that's okay. Okay, I'm going to take this out for a second. That'll just make it easier. Set it down gently. And I'm going to go grab these moss poles, which are right over here in my kitchen. As they're falling apart, just like me. They're a mess as well. Okay, so I have these moss poles that I've had for a while. And you can sort of just plug these in, which is nice. And so I want to take this moss pole off, which I just had this little standard moss pole on here. I got it off of Amazon. And it's a very thin one. And it did do great. I mean, this plant loved being attached to it, but it needs more support. So we're going to give it some more support and maybe put a little bit more rooting hormone powder on here. I don't know if you guys are like familiar viewers with my YouTube channel and watch these plant videos, but if so, I'm sure you have noticed some of these videos come across as, well, he really thought things through, and other ones are like, wow, he's going about this in a chaotic way. This is one of those chaotic way videos, and I apologize for that. But I also don't apologize for it, so I'm going to have to deal with it. All right, I'm going to put this one in here. And now what I'm going to do, that it is in there, is I'm going to fill up the rest of the pot with soil, just so it is around the sides, and try to use as much of its old soil as possible. And what I'm doing is mixing in two different kinds of soil. So I have, like I said, the soil that originally came in, which is more of a peat-based kind of soil. And then this one's a chunky aroid mix, which is a little bit different, but still has all of the proper type of nutrients and soil additives that this plant would really like. So hopefully it's cool with it and it doesn't have any issues, unlike the person who is potting it up. It's human caretaker, as I should say. Okay, I'm going to move that around so it has some room. And this plant, it does like to remain a little consistently moist, not to the point where its soil is like soaked or anything like that, because that would lead to root rot. But this plant really does like to not have, maybe like how typical philodendron have like somewhere around like, I don't know, 2 to 3 days of a dry out period, some of them even longer in between waterings. This one likes it when its waterings happen within like a day of drying out, if that makes sense. Okay, so now that we have that, we're going to add in another one of these, plug that in like so, and gosh, I wish, let me see, I'm gonna have to put in a little bit more soil around the sides just so this pole will stay in. And there we go. And I want to add in one more. There we go. Because this thing with its old little moss pole, this thin one, was only, gosh, up to here. And so where this latest leaf came out and this new growth point that's coming in, that wasn't being supported. And that, my friends, was an issue. So now that I have that, I'm going to try and use this tape here, this plant tape that just kind of is like a Velcro, and it goes around the side, and hopefully this works, just so I can get this around here. Oh, it's not going to work. Like I said, guys, I'm a mess. Okay, let me see. I'm going to take this stool here, which has nothing to do with plants, and use it to prop up this while I go and grab some twine. So I'll be right back. And I'm back. So now I can move this little stool out of the way. Push it back to where it was. Okay, so now that I have this, I'm going to take this and tie this around hither. So it tries, I want to get basically not like super tight, but like tight enough where some of the aerial roots on this plant are going to be hitting up against the moss pole. Because once I start to like water the plant and soak the moss pole, those aerial roots will recognize the moss pole and they will start to grow and attach themselves to the moss pole, which will in turn lead to bigger foliage as new leaves come out. So let's see here. I want to put this in like one other spot. That's a little bit tighter. Like down here, tie this guy up. And I'm curious to know in the comments if you folks wouldn't mind, because I check the comments on these videos all the time. And I'm curious to know if any of you have any of these Philodendron Burle Marx fantasies. And if so, what is your growing experience with them like? Did you run into any issues early on like I did, or did everything go fine and dandy like cotton candy, as they say? You know, I say like as they say quite often, but as I said in other videos, I don't know who says it. I'm just assuming, which is not good, but we'll go with it anyways. Okay, so now that we have it, ta-ta! Let's see, how does it look? How's she looking? Oh, that looks lovely. This leaf right here, I'm a little bit concerned about that one. It doesn't look like it's doing too well, and I might lose it. I lost 2 other leaves within the last couple of months, in the last like 4 or 5 months, or 3 to 4 months, I should say. So hopefully that'll be fine. So now that I have that one, I'm now going to pot up this Philodendron Burle Marx variegated, which has little lovely colorful leaves. And this one will do really well in this chunky aeroid potting mix here, because that's the kind of soil that this fella really thrives in. So let's see here. I'm going to take some of this rooting hormone powder, and I'm going to dip its roots in. And I water propagated this plant for months, and I didn't really need to do it for that long, because what I've noticed is that the Philodendron Burle Marx, the regular one, and the variegated version water propagate really fast and shoot out roots really quickly. So let's see, put it in there, and then I'm going to pot it up with some more soil around its sides. Actually, maybe what I might do is use this pot because it's super cute. Okay, I'm going to do that. All right, now that this old pot that the Philodendron Burle Marx Fantasy was in is cleaned out, I'm now going to put in this soil and put it on the sides, take a little bit more, and plop it in like so. Just a little bit more, just err on the side of caution. Why not? Am I right? I don't know. I'm hoping I'm right, but I'm never right. Like I said, this is one of those chaotic videos, but I'd rather get you guys some content than none at all. Although I say that, and I will eventually become selfish again, where I'm like, I don't want to produce any videos on plants because they make me burned out. And then we'll go through a dormancy period where Kevin doesn't have any videos, and then we'll be back again. It's all a cycle, my friends. And here I am talking to myself yet again, because I'm sure you guys have muted this at this point, and my plants certainly aren't listening. All right, look at that. We have 2 different species of the Philodendron Burle Marx. We have the lovely Burle Marx Fantasy and the stunning Burle Marx Variegated, both who were discovered by Roberto Burle Marx, who's a famous landscape architect and designer from Brazil, which is where all those cool philodendron come from to begin with. But yeah, now that they're potted up, I'm going to water them and put them in their correct spots. But in the meantime, I want to thank you guys again so much for tuning into my videos. And if you haven't already, please give this video a thumbs up, like it, and also if you haven't subscribed to my channel, that way you can see brand new content as it becomes available. But thanks again so much, guys, for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.